In a world where fame feels eternal, we often forget that even the brightest stars eventually fade. On this channel, we don't just report celebrity deaths, we honor legacies, share untold stories, and remember the lives behind the spotlight. Because every goodbye deserves more than just a headline. If you believe every life deserves to be remembered, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join us in honoring the legacies that touch millions. Dwayne Wiggins, the gifted musician, producer, and cultural trailblazer, left behind a legacy that resonated far beyond his own voice and stage presence. His passing left a void in the world of R&B, stirring waves of sorrow across the music community. Fellow artists, fans, and protégés alike found themselves pausing to reflect on just how deeply he had shaped the sound, style, and soul of contemporary music. Born and raised in the vibrant city of Oakland, California, Dwayne was immersed from an early age in a rich, diverse musical landscape. His neighborhood was filled with rhythm, poetry, and soul, a place where music was not just background noise, but a way of life. It didn't take long for young Dwayne to discover his own calling. With a natural ear for harmony and an unmistakable sense of groove, he began exploring music with the same passion he would later bring to world stages. He rose to national and international prominence as a founding member of the iconic R&B group Tone, alongside his brother Raphael Saadiq and cousin Timothy Christian Riley. Dwayne helped shape a sound that was both fresh and timeless. Their music, a rich blend of soul, funk, and new jack swing, quickly found a devoted audience. With classic hits like Feels Good, It Never Rains in Southern California, and Anniversary, the group became a defining voice of late 1980s and early 1990s R&B. Their songs were more than just chart toppers, they became emotional touchstones for listeners and helped set a new standard for what modern soul could be. But Dwayne Wiggins wasn't just content to shine in the spotlight. Behind the scenes, he was an equally powerful force with a keen producer's ear and an instinct for talent. He quietly nurtured the next generation of artists. One of his most notable contributions was his early work with Destiny's Child. Long before they became a global phenomenon, the young group was taken under Wiggins' wing. He helped guide their sound, shape their artistic vision, and set them on a path to greatness. His mentorship became a key chapter in their story and in the story of modern pop and R&B throughout his life. Wiggins remained deeply committed to musical innovation and artistic integrity. He believed in pushing boundaries, fusing old-school soul with new-school energy, and staying rooted in authenticity no matter how trends evolved. He was a visionary who valued substance over flash, and his ability to merge the past and the present gave his work a timeless quality. Whether he was performing on stage, collaborating in the studio, or offering advice to an up-and-coming artist, his love for music was evident in every note. As the years went by, his influence only continued to grow. He became a trusted figure in the music world, not just as a performer, but as a cultural elder of sorts, someone who had seen the industry change and yet remained true to the essence of the art. His Oakland home studio became a creative hub where artists could learn, experiment, and grow under his guidance. Many who passed through those doors found not just a producer, but a mentor, a friend, and an inspiration. When the news of his passing broke, the music world paused. Tributes poured in from all corners, from fellow musicians who had worked beside him to fans who had grown up with his songs. The sorrow was deeply felt, but so was the gratitude. People remembered the joy his music brought, the doors he opened for others, and the way he carried himself with grace, humility, and a quiet brilliance that never demanded the spotlight, but always earned respect. Friends and collaborators spoke of his unwavering generosity, his commitment to uplifting others, and his rare ability to bring people together through rhythm and melody. He wasn't just an entertainer, he was a builder of community, a connector of souls. His presence in a room had the power to ignite creativity, and his belief in others helped many find their own voice, even in death. Dwayne Wiggins' legacy lives on. The songs he crafted continue to play on radio stations, streaming services, and personal playlists, reminding listeners of the era he helped define. The artists he mentored carry pieces of his influence in their music, their performances, and their approach to the craft. And in Oakland, his roots remain strong, a lasting symbol of the city's contribution to global music culture. His journey was never about fame for fame's sake. It was about passion, purpose, and leaving the world better than he found it. Through his work as a performer, producer, and mentor, Dwayne Wiggins accomplished just that. He proved that real success isn't measured in accolades alone, but in the lives touched, the minds inspired, and the melodies that continue to echo long after the final curtain falls. Though he may no longer walk among us, Dwayne's spirit lingers in every soulful harmony and heartfelt lyric he helped create. His legacy is one of love, music, and an unshakable belief in the power of art to heal, connect, and uplift. For those who loved him, worked with him, or simply listened from afar, his memory remains a melody that never fades. Pamela Bach, the beloved actress known for her elegance, warmth, and unforgettable screen presence, has left us after a courageous battle with illness. Her passing cast a shadow over the hearts of fans, friends, and family who admired not only her performances, but the woman she was behind the scenes. Known for her work in both television and film, Pamela's legacy is marked by grace, resilience, and a deep passion for storytelling. Born with an undeniable spark, Pamela's journey into the world of entertainment began with an early love for acting. She had a natural ability to connect with people, something that translated beautifully on camera. As she made her way through the competitive landscape of Hollywood in the 1980s and 1990s, she stood out for her charm, professionalism, and the sincerity she brought to every role. Her career blossomed, and she quickly became a familiar face in American households. One of her most iconic roles came in Baywatch, the global television phenomenon that became a symbol of pop culture in its era. Pamela's performance in the show resonated with audiences around the world. She brought not only beauty and charisma to the screen, but also depth and compassion. Her presence added dimension to the series, and her contributions helped cement Baywatch as one of the most recognizable television shows of its time. But Pamela Bach's identity extended far beyond her roles. In Hollywood, she was often in the spotlight for her relationship with actor and singer David Hasselhoff. Their marriage, though closely followed by the media, was just one chapter of Pamela's story. She carved her own path in the industry, proving that she was more than just a supporting figure. She was a star in her own right. Through the ups and downs of public life, Pamela remained poised and grounded, balancing fame with authenticity. Off-screen, she was admired just as much as she was on it. Pamela was a devoted mother, deeply committed to her children. Her love for her family was evident in everything she did, and those who knew her well often spoke of the joy she found in motherhood. She navigated the demands of her career while creating a nurturing, loving environment for her children, something she took tremendous pride in. The news of Pamela Bach's passing triggered an outpouring of tributes and memories from those whose lives she touched. Former co-stars, directors, and crew members recalled her kindness, her radiant smile, and the energy she brought to every set. She wasn't just a talented actress, she was a team player, a supportive colleague, and someone who lifted the spirits of those around her. Her sense of humor, warmth, and unwavering optimism made her a joy to work with. Friends and family shared stories that painted a portrait of a woman full of life, someone who loved deeply, laughed often, and approached challenges with quiet strength. She was generous with her time and her heart, often extending a hand to others in need of encouragement or support. Her circle of loved ones will remember her not just for what she accomplished, but for who she was when the cameras weren't. Rolling Pamela also left her mark in ways that go beyond the screen. Her style, grace, and personality made her a frequent subject of admiration in magazines and interviews. But despite the attention, she never let the spotlight change who she was at her core. She remained grounded, humble, and focused on the things that mattered most to her family, her craft, and her sense of purpose. As the world remembers Pamela Bach, it's not just her filmography that stands as a testament to her life, but the warmth she brought into every room she entered. Her legacy is woven into the fabric of television history, yes, but more importantly, it lives on in the hearts of the people who knew her, worked beside her, and loved her. Even in her absence, her impact is still felt. The character she portrayed continued to resonate with longtime fans, and the kindness she showed lives on in the stories told by those who were lucky enough to cross paths with her. Her legacy is not just about roles or red carpets, it's about humanity, generosity, and the quiet strength of a woman who lived her life with purpose. Pamela Bach may have stepped away from this world, but the light she left behind continues to shine. Through her work, her love, and her unwavering spirit, she gifted us with memories that will never fade. And in the world of entertainment, where faces come and go, Hers will always be one remembered with admiration, respect, and affection. Crystal Donna Roberts, the acclaimed South African actress whose on-screen brilliance moved audiences across the globe, has passed away following a battle with illness. Her departure has left an irreplaceable void in the world of film and television, as fans, fellow artists, and admirers mourn the loss of a truly gifted performer. Known for her authenticity, depth, and dedication to her craft, Crystal Donna was more than an actress. She was a storyteller whose passion lit up every role she took on. From a young age, Crystal Donna displayed an unwavering love for the performing arts. Raised in South Africa, she embraced her cultural roots while daring to dream big in a competitive industry. Her journey into the world of acting was marked by persistence and heart. As she took her first steps into film and television, it became clear that she was destined to make a meaningful impact. With each role, she proved her ability to embody complex characters, drawing viewers into their stories with nuance and sincerity. One of her most celebrated performances came in the critically acclaimed film The Endless River 2015, which premiered at the Venice Film Festival and garnered international attention. In it, Crystal Donna delivered a hauntingly beautiful portrayal that highlighted her rare talent and emotional range. The film solidified her reputation as one of South Africa's most promising cinematic voices, earning her both critical praise and a growing fan base that admired her fearless approach to her work. Her career continued to flourish as she took on roles that challenged boundaries and showcased the diversity of South African narratives, whether portraying the struggles of everyday women or embodying layered, introspective characters. Crystal Donna brought an honesty to her performances that resonated deeply. She wasn't just acting, she was living each moment on screen, making her characters feel real, relatable, and unforgettable. Colleagues often spoke of her quiet confidence and unwavering commitment. On set, she was known not only for her professionalism, but for the warmth she brought into every space. Directors admired her ability to take direction while adding her own unique interpretation. Fellow actors praised her for being generous and collaborative, often noting how she uplifted others through encouragement and genuine support. Off-screen, Crystal Donna was equally inspiring. She believed in using her platform to highlight underrepresented stories and voices, particularly within the South African film industry. She became a symbol of resilience and excellence, breaking barriers and paving the way for aspiring actors, especially young women of color who saw in her a reflection of their own hopes. Her presence on screen gave voice to those often overlooked, and she carried that responsibility with both humility and pride. The news of her passing sent shockwaves through the entertainment community. Tributes poured in from co-stars, directors, producers, and fans, all of whom shared fond memories of working with her or being moved by her performances. Many spoke not just of her talent, but of her kindness, how she remembered people's names, how she made others feel seen, and how she brought a quiet strength to everything she did. For those who had the privilege of knowing her personally, Crystal Donna was more than a performer. She was a friend, a mentor, and a beacon of light. Her sense of empathy, intelligence, and deep compassion touched the lives of many. She carried herself with grace, never seeking fame, but always seeking truth in her work. Her legacy, therefore, is not only in the roles she played, but in the lives she impacted through her presence, both on and off screen. Though she has left this world far too soon, her spirit remains alive in the stories she told. The films she helped shape continue to speak to audiences, serving as a lasting reminder of her artistry. Her influence will continue to inspire new generations of actors, writers, and filmmakers who look to her career as an example of what can be achieved with integrity, perseverance, and heart. Crystal Donna Roberts may no longer walk among us, but her light has not dimmed. It shines through every frame she graced, every line she delivered, and every emotion she evoked. Her work is etched into the soul of South African cinema and echoes through the international film community that came to know and respect her. As the industry mourns her loss, it also celebrates her life, a life lived with purpose, creativity, and deep love for the art of storytelling. In honoring her legacy, we remember not only what she gave to film, but what she gave to the world: beauty, honesty, and the unshakable power of a well-told story. Roy Ayers, the legendary vibraphonist, composer, and pioneer of jazz funk, has passed away of natural causes, marking the end of an era in music history. Revered for his unparalleled ability to blend jazz, soul, funk, and later inspired hip-hop, Ayers was more than a musician, he was a cultural icon. His passing has stirred heartfelt tributes from across the globe as artists, fans, and fellow musicians reflect on the profound impact he had on multiple generations of music lovers. Born on September 10, 1940, in Los Angeles, Roy Edward Ayers Jr. was destined to live a life infused with rhythm. Raised in a home filled with music, his mother was a pianist and his father a trombonist. Ayers was introduced to jazz at a young age. Legend has it that when he was just 5 years old, he received a pair of mallets from Lionel Hampton, the jazz vibraphonist, who would later become one of his key influences. That moment sparked a lifelong love affair with the vibraphone, an instrument that would become Ayers' signature voice in the world of sound. By the 1960s, Ayers had firmly established himself within the jazz scene, collaborating with greats like Herbie Mann and flutist Charles Tolliver. His playing style, fluid, melodic, and full of warmth, was unlike anything else at the time. But Ayers wasn't content with staying within the traditional bounds of jazz. He began to experiment, incorporating elements of funk, R&B, and soul into his compositions. This bold innovation led to the formation of Roy Ayers Ubiquity, a group that would redefine the fusion genre and forever change the landscape of modern music. Ayers' most iconic hit, Everybody Loves the Sunshine, 1976, exemplified his musical vision, a smooth, feel-good anthem with grooves that transcended genre. The track became an enduring classic played on radios, sampled in hip-hop, and cherished for its warmth and optimism. Artists like Erykah Badu, A Tribe Called Quest, Mary J. Blige, and Kendrick Lamar have all drawn inspiration from Ayers' sound, often incorporating his samples and influence into their work. In many ways, he became a bridge between the golden eras of jazz and the birth of contemporary soul and hip-hop. But Roy Ayers was more than a producer of hits. He was a mentor, collaborator, and visionary. His work often spoke to themes of Black pride, cultural awareness, and joy, whether through his lyrics or simply the infectious groove of his music. Ayers uplifted his audience. His live performances were electric, marked by his charm and undeniable passion for the music he created. For many, watching Ayers perform was not just a concert, it was a spiritual experience. As news of his passing spread, tributes poured in from all corners of the world. Questlove, Common, and Pharrell Williams were among those who spoke of Ayers' lasting legacy, crediting him with shaping their musical identities. Fellow jazz and funk musicians described him as a trailblazer, someone who refused to be boxed in by tradition and instead carved out his own sonic path. Fans shared stories of how his music had accompanied them through life's most joyful and difficult moments, underscoring just how deeply his sound had resonated across time and culture. Beyond the stage, Ayers was committed to educating and uplifting others. In later years, he spoke passionately about music's power to heal and unite. He remained active well into his later decades, continuing to perform, mentor, and collaborate with younger artists who saw in him a living legend. Despite his fame, he remained humble and grounded, always attributing his success to the love of the craft and the support of the community that surrounded him. Though Roy Ayers is no longer physically present, his music remains an eternal part of the cultural soundtrack. His melodies, grooves, and lyrical messages continue to be sampled, played, and celebrated by new audiences discovering his brilliance for the first time. From smoky jazz clubs to vibrant block parties, from studio headphones to festival stages, his sound is everywhere, alive and pulsing with energy. Roy Ayers didn't just play the vibraphone, he gave it a voice that spoke across decades. He proved that music could evolve without losing its soul, that rhythm could carry meaning, and that joy could be a revolutionary act. In celebrating his life, we honor a man who brought sunshine into the world through music and left it brighter than he found it. His legacy will continue to echo through generations of artists and listeners. Roy Ayers may have departed this life, but his spirit lives on in the sunshine, the beats, and the everlasting groove. Ricardo Scofidio, the visionary architect, educator, and co-founder of the trailblazing firm Diller Scofidio plus Renfro, passed away of natural causes, leaving behind a profound legacy that forever changed the way we experience architecture and urban spaces. His passing marks the end of an era for modern design, but his influence endures in every structure, every reimagined public space, and every student he mentored with quiet brilliance. Born in 1935, Scofidio grew up with an innate appreciation for aesthetics, structure, and form. From the beginning, he approached architecture not as a rigid discipline, but as a dynamic fusion of art, technology, performance, and public life. This multidisciplinary lens would become the hallmark of his career and the foundation of a new era in architecture. After completing his education, he began teaching at Cooper Union, where he remained a faculty member for over 4 decades, deeply shaping the minds of generations of architects. It was in 1979 that Ricardo Scofidio partnered with architect Elizabeth Diller to form what would later become Diller Scofidio plus Renfro, a firm that defied conventional architectural practices and challenged the very definition of a building. Together, they pioneered a bold, conceptual approach combining theatricality, design experimentation, and cultural commentary in ways that startled and inspired the architectural world. Their work was never just about erecting walls, it was about creating experiences. Among his most transformative contributions to the urban landscape was the creation of the High Line in New York City, a project that helped define Scofidio's legacy. The High Line was an ambitious adaptive reuse of an abandoned elevated rail line on Manhattan's West Side, which he and the team transformed into a lush, accessible urban park. The project did more than revitalize a derelict piece of infrastructure. It changed how cities think about public space, sustainability, and architectural storytelling. The High Line became a global icon, sparking similar projects in cities around the world and elevating Scofidio's reputation as a visionary who could harmonize ecology, history, and community. Other celebrated projects under his guidance include The Shed, a groundbreaking cultural center in Hudson Yards that redefines what a building can be through its kinetic, shape-shifting architecture. His work on Lincoln Center for the Performing Arts, including the renovation of Alice Tully Hall and the addition of a transparent, welcoming new entrance, demonstrated his ability to honor history while inviting progress. Scofidio's architectural language was bold yet humanistic, often marked by transparency, flexibility, and seamless integration with urban life outside the field of construction. Ricardo Scofidio's influence extended deeply into education and art. He was a MacArthur Genius Fellow, the first architect ever to receive the honor recognition of his unique role in blending art and architecture. His installations and experimental media pieces were featured in museums and exhibitions worldwide, often challenging viewers to consider how technology and architecture interact with the human body and psyche. His students remember him not just for his genius, but for his humility, generosity, and passion for teaching. He encouraged young designers to question everything, to reject safe choices, and to let their creativity lead. Through his mentorship, a generation of architects was taught to see architecture not just as a profession, but as a social and artistic act, an opportunity to shape culture, foster connection, and respond to the world's changing needs. As news of his death spread, the architectural community expressed an overwhelming sense of loss. Colleagues, former students, and cultural leaders paid tribute to the man who made architecture poetic and urban life more beautiful. Tributes poured in from institutions that bore his mark and from the people who walked through his designs daily, often unaware of the genius behind the glass, concrete, and light surrounding them. Though Ricardo Scofidio is no longer with us, his legacy is very much alive in the rustling trees of the High Line, the ever-moving shell of the Shed, the vibrant life coursing through public spaces he helped reimagine. His body of work is more than a collection of iconic buildings. It's a philosophy, a statement that architecture is not static, it breathes, it speaks, and it belongs to the people. Scofidio taught us that design can be a form of activism, that it can challenge perceptions and invite us into dialogue with our surroundings. His legacy is not only etched in steel and stone, but in the very way we now think about cities and the role of architecture in public life. Through his transformative vision, Ricardo Scofidio has ensured that the boundaries he once pushed will remain forever open, guiding the next generation of thinkers and dreamers toward bold, compassionate design. DJ Funk, the electrifying pioneer of ghetto house music, has passed away of natural causes, leaving behind a booming legacy that forever changed the sound of the dance floor. His high-octane beats and unapologetic energy reshaped club culture in the 90s and early 2000s, inspiring generations of DJs, producers, and partygoers alike. As news of his passing spread, a wave of tributes poured in from across the globe, an outpouring of gratitude for the man who turned raw rhythm into anthems of liberation and joy. Born and raised in Chicago, the birthplace of house music, DJ Funk was immersed in a vibrant, underground music scene that would fuel his earliest creative instincts. From a young age, he gravitated toward the pulse of the city, the dance battles, the DJ sets. The sweaty, packed basements where house music came alive. By his teens, he was already spinning records and mastering the turntables, developing a distinct sound that would soon take over clubs across the Midwest and beyond. In the early 1990s, as mainstream house evolved into deeper and more polished subgenres, DJ Funk was busy crafting something more primal and direct ghetto house. It was fast, stripped down, and dirty. It was made for bodies in motion. His tracks, often laced with bold, repetitive vocal loops, turned heads with their infectious confidence. Songs like Work That Body, Booty Percolatin', and 3 Fine Hoes became instant hits, defining a raw, sweat-drenched brand of dance music that was impossible to ignore. DJ Funk wasn't just a producer, he was a movement. At a time when club music could often feel distant or overly polished, he brought it back to the streets. His records didn't need radio play, they lived in warehouses, basement parties, and late-night clubs where people came not just to listen, but to let go. His label, Funk Records, and his countless releases helped cement ghetto house as a genre in its own right, giving a platform to artists who were unafraid to be gritty, loud, and real. Perhaps one of his most enduring traits was his relentless work ethic. DJ Funk released dozens of EPs, mixtapes, and full-length albums, always pushing boundaries while keeping the essence of ghetto house intact. He toured relentlessly, bringing his sound to Europe, Asia, and all corners of the U.S., proving that dance music didn't have to be clean to be powerful. His sets were legendary, sweaty, unfiltered explosions of energy that turned even the stiffest crowds into a sea of motion. The music industry felt the collective jolt upon hearing of his passing. Jays paid tribute by playing his iconic tracks in clubs that night. Online, producers credited him for shaping their approach to beat-making and club performance. Fans flooded social media with memories of hearing his music for the first time, of wild nights on the dance floor, of that unmistakable bass line thumping through the speakers. For many, DJ Funk was the soundtrack to liberation, a symbol of what it meant to be loud, free, and unapologetically alive. But beyond the bass and bounce, DJ Funk represented something even greater: freedom through rhythm. He made music for the people who needed release, for the overlooked, the outsiders, and everyone who found home in the beat. His songs weren't just party tracks. They were declarations of joy, sexuality, and self-expression. He reminded us that sometimes the best music wasn't polished, it was raw, real, and made to make you move. Though he is no longer here, his influence reverberates through every subwoofer and dance floor where his tracks still bang. Ghetto house lives on in the sounds of footwork, juke, bounce, and countless other genres that owe him their DNA. New generations of producers sample his style, emulate his fearlessness, and continue his tradition of music made for movement. His work laid the foundation for a global scene that thrives on energy, edge, and authenticity. In the end, DJ Funk leaves behind more than just a discography. He leaves behind a pulse, a rhythm that continues to echo through nightclubs, festival, stages, and headphones around the world. His name remains etched into the heart of electronic music, not just as a pioneer, but as a liberator of the dance floor. His spirit lives in every bass drop, every shuffle, every uninhibited moment on the floor where people let go and just feel. DJ Funk's sound will never fade because he didn't just make music. He made movement, and that movement will never stop.